According to ASPCA, one of the largest organizations in the world that helps fight against animal cruelty, as well as helps animals find new homes, uh, approximately 1.5 million animals are euthanized or put down every year. And of these animals, 670,000 of these are dogs, and about 860,000 of these are cats. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what is the solution to this awful, awful problem? The solution is to simply adopt. I believe that adopting from animal shelters is one of the best and most beneficial methods of adding a furry friend into your family, compared to getting an animal from a breeder. My research has shown 3 reasons as to why this is true and why adopting is the best way to go. My first reason is that you can save a life. My second reason is that it costs a significantly less amount of money to get from a shelter than it does from a breeder. And my third point is that you can avoid giving any business to any potential breeder that has bad motives behind them. So now that I've previewed my 3 main points, I'm going to talk a bit more about my first one, how you can save a life. As I said before, over 1 million animals are put down annually before they're even given a chance to find a new home and a new family. And to me, this is just so sad. And I believe that the best way to help solve this problem is to just simply adopt from animal shelters and not go searching for a breeder. I believe that it is our responsibility to help, I believe it is our responsibility to go out and help these animals and remove their names off these death lists, because they have nobody that can help them, and we need to be the ones that go out and help save them. One thing about adopting animals from an animal shelter is that they will know that you saved their life. They will be forever grateful that you saved them, and they will provide you with nothing but love. Me personally, I have a personal example of something like this. My own dog Maggie, right here, in 2015, I adopted her from the Houston SPCA Center. And every day, ever since I've gotten her, she's just provided me with unconditional love and support. And I don't think this will be the only situation of this happening. I believe if you, the listener, go out and adopt from a shelter, this will be the same situation that you're put in. Whatever animal that you adopt, they will be forever and eternally grateful towards you. So that's one thing to keep in mind when thinking about getting an animal. And adding an animal to your family. So now that I've talked about saving a life, I'll now move on to my second point about saving money. I believe so. According to the SPCA Center of the Houston SPCA Center, the one I talked about before, the price range from adopting an animal from the shelter ranges from $5 to $200. This is only a minuscule amount of money compared to getting an animal from a breeder, which can be as high as $3,000, which seems staggering. I don't think there's any reason as to why you should be paying so much for a family member that you can simply just get from an animal shelter and save their life and prevent them from being euthanized. So clearly this seems like another good reason as to why you should adopt from an animal shelter, and you can avoid putting a huge hole in your wallet. So now I'll be talking about my third point about how you can avoid giving any business to any breeder that has any potential bad motives behind them. Sure, I will admit that there are breeders out there in the world that do things properly and treat their animals with love and compassion. But unfortunately, there are breeders in the world that do not behave the same way. One example I have is puppy mills. Puppy mills are factory-style breeding facilities that that only care about profit, and they do not care whatsoever about the welfare of the animals that they're providing. The only reason that these facilities are successful is through deceptive tactics and keeping their customers in the dark about what truly is going on behind the facility walls. The animals that inside these facilities are treated very poorly and with no love and compassion at all. The mothers of these animals that are being bred have very little human contact and aren't treated as well as a dog should or an animal should. So I feel like the best way to avoid avoid giving business to these awful businesses is to simply just adopt from a shelter. That way you don't run the risk of possibly giving money to a bad organization. So in summary, my 3 main points were that you can save a life, you can save money from getting animals from a shelter compared to a breeder, and 3, that you can avoid giving business to any breeder that has bad motives behind them. So the message I'm really trying to drive home is that the best and most beneficial method of adding a furry friend into your family is to simply adopt from a shelter and not get an animal from a breeder. So I call upon you, to my listeners, to do the right thing and adopt and not shop. Thank you for listening.